Ladies and gentlemen, you've often heard people say time is money. But the question is, how much money? $7.25 an hour? $10,000 an hour? If time is money, how much of it? The reason I ask this, and the reason it's extremely important for you to understand, especially as a business owner and as an entrepreneur, is you need to be able to know what your hour is worth. What is your time worth? I'd recently sat down with an entrepreneur. I think he was about 22 or 23. He'd done about 10 grand profit that month, right? And he came to me, he was like, dude, I'm super happy. I made $10,000 this month. It was a great time. It was a great experience, but I feel super drained. I'm like, why are you drained? Dude, because I was working so hard. I had to pull all-nighters. I had supply chain issues. I had so many problems come in, and I had to spend so much time working. And I was like, well, what do you mean so much time working? You only made 10 grand. He's like, yeah, but I had all these issues that I had to solve, all of these things that I had to fix. And then I had something with my supply chain that had a big complication and I need to get involved. That's because, of course, didn't have a fulfillment manager, which is the entire point of this video, is he was focused on low ROI tasks. Therefore, the ROI was low. And once you understand that you need to be able to onboard people into your organization to be able to off-source certain workload that is not ROI positive is when you begin to move like a boss. And that's the point of this video is, if time is money, how much money is that time worth? Nobody's asking that question, but I am. My time is worth $10,000 an hour because that's what people pay me for a coaching call. Now it fluctuates between 10 to 20,000, but that's what people pay me. So that's how much I'm willing to sell my hour for. 1, 2, when you calculate how much I work for every single day and then how much money I make on a yearly basis, I make a lot of money. So how is it that somebody can work more hours than me, work harder than me, and produce a lot less? The big difference is that they are in a situation whereby they are focusing their work and their hours on low ROI tasks. Usually these tasks are tasks that are low friction, that they enjoy doing, that don't involve some sort of conflict or a big growth factor required. You know, for example, selling. Going out and doing sales is not an easy thing. It's quite difficult. It plays quite a heavy toll on your psyche. And I would like to believe that I'm a mentally strong individual. And when I was doing door-to-door sales, which I did, like that shit's pretty ruthless. So you need to develop yourself in a way whereby you face uncomfortable situations and you do things that are uncomfortable. This is extremely important. And once you begin to do that, now you enter a situation whereby you only do things that are ROI positive. Why do you want to do things that are only ROI positive or that have maximum return attached to it? Well, the reason you want to do something that has maximum return attached to it is because you value your time. If you're intelligent, you will begin to hire people to do things that you don't want to do or that you shouldn't be doing or that you don't need to be doing. Now, let's say you work a 9 to 5, which is pretty fair if you want to work a 9 to 5 in your entrepreneurial job because you want to balance it out with other areas of your life. Let's say you work 40 hours a week and you work 50 weeks out of the year, right? If you break down how much you'd be making per hour, that is $500. $500 per hour if you were to work a 40-hour work week for 50 weeks in a year, right? Do the math, that sounds about correct. So the question is, at $500 an hour, should you be washing dishes? If your time's worth $500 an hour, right, should you be answering bullshit emails or booking your own flight? I was sitting with a high-level entrepreneur, made about $2.5 million, $3 million last year. And we're sitting on the yacht and he's booking his flight. He was gonna go do some sort of business meeting somewhere. And I look at him and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm booking my flight. I was like, what do you mean you're booking your flight? He's like, oh yeah, it only takes 2 minutes. I'm like, okay. You understand? Because He could have just hired somebody and sent a text message, hey, I'm going from here to here. I want to leave on this date in the morning. Here's a photo of my passport. It gets booked, right? Why can't you have somebody do that for you to liberate what I call mental real estate? You liberate mental real estate, and now you're in a situation where you can use that mental real estate to have high yield returns. People talk about physical real estate, but they don't talk about mental real estate and the importance of cultivating the mental real estate to getting what I like to call mental ROI. People talk about physical ROI and cash ROI that comes from physical real estate, but they never talk about the ROI that comes from understanding how to build your mental real estate and how to declutter all the bullshit that is inside of it. So ladies and gentlemen, please be extremely conscientious of this and figure out what is your time worth. So if you want to make $1 million a year and your hour's worth $500, then you're not going to do any task that is worth less than $500. Find somebody to do it or don't do it. Now, I'm not talking to the people that have no money. I'm talking to the people that want to get to next level in business, to their next level as an entrepreneur. People that already have something going but need to scale. In order to do that, you need to understand systems and operations. We teach this inside Capital Club, how to build a 9-figure business, because we've done that. Obviously, one of my co-founders, Steve Tan, has built an organization with over 1,500 employees, $100 million a year in e-commerce, absolute savage. So we understand how the name of the game is dictated. And we understand how the rules are made. And we understand who calls the shots. And it's usually the person that is doing all the thinking. John D. Rockefeller said, "He who works all the time has no time to make money." What did he mean by this? Is that the person that is occupied their entire time focused on labor, which is not a bad thing, but if your entire time is focused on labor, thinking that that's the solution to money and to wealth creation, they don't understand what money is, right? Or how it's created, or how it's multiplied, or how it's even preserved. So you need to be the person that exchanges money for time instead of time for money. Right now, a lot of you guys are moving like hustlers and you're not moving like bosses. To move like a boss, you need to first be in a situation where you're not doing all these bullshit, meaningless, small, petty tasks that could be offshored and offboarded to your employees, right? If you want to build an army, you got to start building an army. It's the name of the game. Nobody's going to go out and hire for you. Go build some generals, go build your C-level org, go hire a project manager. And obviously inside Capital Club, we be teaching you guys how to build a full stack team from head to toe, which is pretty fucking sick. So I wanted to bring this video to you guys because I think it was extremely important. Figure out how much your hour's worth right now, how much you're working, how much you're making, figure out that number and ask yourself, how do I make that number bigger? And the way you're going to do it is by not doing anything in that time that you free up, but by inserting tasks that are high ROI tasks and offsourcing the bullshit, meaningless little things that are in the game. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, time is money, but just make sure that it's worth a lot more than it currently is today.